Welcome, guys, to ILWPOD. I'm your host, as always, Justin Wright. Today we are welcomed here with Logan Ragnarok. How are you doing, man?
Doing good, Bob. How are you?
Great, phenomenal to be here. I'm excited, always excited.
Absolutely.
Before we get into any questions or anything, do you want to shout out any social medias or potential upcoming events that you want to maybe give a little plug to?
Yep. So tomorrow I will be competing in a bunkhouse stampede match in Newport, Tennessee for SOM 505. You'll make sure to
Okay,
check that out. The people in the Knoxville area, go ahead and check out SOM 505.
okay. Any social medias that you want to let them know where to find you?
Yes, I do. It's at Real Logan Ragnarok. That's my Instagram reel. Facebook Logan Ragnarok. I don't really use Twitter or anything. I just scroll and see what's going on in wrestling. I don't like tweet out or anything. I just like see what's going on.
Okay. Um, Getting into questions, I always start at the same place, and that's the beginning. For wrestlers and wrestling fans, we all have a story for when we fell in love with wrestling, when we found it. Like, what was your first experience, whether it was seeing it on TV or whatever? Like, can you remember that?
Absolutely, I definitely remember watching wrestling for the first time. It was WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta, and I it was me and my brother and my parents. We were just watching it, and then. It was like really cool, like it was like a unique experience. And just like seeing like all these like guys, they look like superheroes, since and then as time like went on, we got the action figures, the video games, the merchandise, and then going to my very first Monday Night Raw that same year. Like it was like the Halloween of like 2011. So over 13 years, I've loved professional wrestling, and I grew up with it. And yeah, I didn't discover it till I was like 10 years old. That's the thing though. And then, as time went on, my love for it grew more and more and more. And then that's when I said, I want to give this a shot, and then Uh, 2022, yep. So 3 years ago this month. So I started my wrestling journey at the Nightmare Factory in Norcross, Georgia. Well, they're in McDonough now. So yeah, I just went to I was in camp number six. So camp number six, it was a 12 long weeks of training, and it paid off. Had my first match, and right now, I've worked over 65 matches throughout my career right now. I really want to get more matches this year. So I feel like I didn't compete in enough matches last year in 24 because, shoot job and everything, work different schedules, and it was hard, but, that's how life is. You gotta do what you have to do before you do what you want to do. That's what
Yeah,
my that's what my dad taught me.
I couldn't agree more. Even though the podcast is rough to try to juggle interviews and editing and with your normal everyday life and experiences. So I definitely understand the grind.
Absolutely.
Uh, what about wrestling, your first, watching it and seeing it, what captivated you? Was it the characters or the moves or the whole thing? Like, what about it drew you in?
I think it was like mostly the characters
Okay.
and the audience connection. And I mean the moves, they don't you can like hit like on like 100 moves in a match, but the audience is not going to remember most of them. They'll only remember the big moments in a match. It's
Yeah.
all about storytelling and making memories of that match, because that's what I was taught. Slow down, live in the moment and just feel the audience, whether they cheer you or if they boo you. The best thing, about a match is you get a reaction. That's all that matters. I'm still, trying to like learn that more, just the more matches that I have, the more understanding that I'm getting. I'm starting to understand a lot more. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what so and so told me. So yeah, just learning the craft of it, the art of it more, which is like really fascinating, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Um, Growing up, like before you would eventually go on to train, were you big into sports? Did you do like football, basketball, stuff like that growing up?
So I did play like baseball, football when I was like 7 or 8 years old. But I mean, it was like the little league stuff, but um, play a little bit of basketball, but I never played like sports in like school or anything. I didn't play sports in junior high or high school or anything. You
Okay.
know, I mean, I was so naturally, I was just like, I was like this like skinny kid, like when I was like in my early teens, yeah, just a real skinny dude, I was like a picky eater growing up, and it was hard. And then my uncle, he got me into weightlifting and nutrition, and I was able to put on like a lot of size and mass, and which, and he played for Clemson football. He played in the 1981 national championship, which
Okay.
was really cool. So yeah, he got me into weights and nutrition, and I didn't like play like any like sports or anything like in high school or anything. I was just like a natural big dude, big strong dude. And then I think that when I finally was ready to pull the trigger on trying wrestling, with my size and strength, why not give wrestling a shot? So yeah, so the rest is history.
Was there ever any plans for you, like outside of high school, to do anything other than wrestle? Like, did you think about going down any other career path or maybe having a plan B?
Well, I thought about becoming an actor, which it's hard to do that. So I've always like wanted to like play the Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. Like it was. I was like, I'm like, I'm a big Marvel fan. I love Star Wars, DC, and all the superheroes. So I think that's what wrestling really like complements like superheroes like a lot, in my opinion.
Okay.
And but like you know, when one door closes, another door opens. And so I think wrestling and acting, they go really good together. The Rock, take a look at The Rock, John Cena, Batista, all those guys, have went from
Made
wrestling.
transition.
Yeah, they went from wrestling to Hollywood, and it's really admirable of those guys. I look up to a lot of those guys, in wrestling, and yeah, that was like a career path that I wanted to take, before I started wrestling, but that's how it was.
Can you kind of guide us through what it was like signing up for the Nightmare Factory and maybe what those 12 weeks consisted of?
So I think it was me and my best friend went to AEW Dynamite in Atlanta, and we met Cody's wife Brandy Rhodes and met Pharaoh. Love that dog, so cute. And I think that's what made me finally want to pull the trigger on signing up. And then in life you gotta take the leap of faith, because if there's no leap of faith, there's no growth.
Yeah.
And no growth means no progress. And what are you doing if you don't take the leap of faith? And
Agree.
yeah, so yeah, and Nightmare Factory, it was a great experience, and Cody was awesome to me. QT was very smart, knowledgeable. He's a great coach, great teacher, and yeah, the rest is history. And after that, I went to the WWA4. AR Fox, he coaches there. Great guy, and that's when I really learned how to get better, learned some new tricks, and I started having more matches. And yeah, I was just kind of like been like on my own, basically like a lone wolf, if you can say that.
Was there any advice from like a QT or a Cody that really stuck with you that you've held on to, like anything that comes to mind?
you know, it's definitely I can tell like in promo class, what Cody taught me, like especially when I'm kind of promo, in character wise, gotta make sure, the audience feels it, it's like you're taking them for a ride, like not just a match, but in a promo as well. You're taking them on a journey. Of course, you want to like build your opponent up in the promo. I mean, sometimes you can bury him, which I don't like doing that, but if I'm the heel, I'll do it. But it's definitely, it's about capturing like the audience's attention, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glacier, yeah, can't leave him out. Glacier was he was definitely a big part of the coaching. It's always about slowing down, living in the moment, and it's like a roller coaster. It's like that roller coaster. That was definitely one of the big things that they taught me.
Was Logan Ragnarok born in the Nightmare Factory or the A4?
Nightmare Factory.
Okay. What went into like, finding that name, that character? Like what was that process like?
So I will admit I got that name from Thor Ragnarok.
I figured. I was gonna ask.
Yeah, but this it's not just like just based off the movie. It's I want to be a destroyer. Just be a wrecking machine out there. Just bring that intensity and bring the athleticism, the charisma, the facial expressions. Like just to get that wow factor, get the audience attention.
Okay.
You know.
Transitioning from the Nightmare Factory to the A4, was that difficult? Like going and learning completely, I don't want to say different things, but learning things in a completely different way.
It wasn't hard at all. It's just like I'm just like it was basically like picking up where I left off. Like in training, just go from there. I mean, of course, so it's a beginner's class for Nightmare Factory. I went through the beginner's course. Just learn the basic stuff. The basic fundamentals. The chain wrestling. Just work a basic 5 minute match. That's how we were taught. Like especially for beginners. Of course, you'll have some more experienced guys in there, and then but I think it's mostly like beginners that you will see in there. You'll see the showcases. You'll see new faces. Of course, you'll see familiar faces as well. From previous camps. And I definitely want to like work with those guys. Who were there from the very start.
Have you got to like work with any of them guys now, like later on after you've graduated or moved on to other things?
I haven't.
No? That's
No.
that's that's
Oh,
interesting.
so January 24th, New Legacy Pro Wrestling in Franklin. I'll be working with the entertainer Jacob Thrasher. He's from Camp 1 or 2, I believe. So he'll be the first nightmare guy that I'll be going up against,
Okay.
which I'm really looking forward to that.
How long, like, once you went to like the A4, how long did you participate in training there before you would say like move on to other indies?
I was training there for like a year and a half. So it was.
I- Is Fox somebody who you would consider maybe like I don't want to say hesitant to put you in the ring, but does he make sure you're ready before he puts you in the ring and maybe puts you on a show to do a match?
So it's a little different, since I was like, I had experience, like going into the WWA4 for the first time, since I didn't really like, I didn't have like a graduation match or anything like that, but so students, when they're new to the four, they would have their graduation match with Fox, and so I think it's like different now. They just like have their first one-on-one match with like a I think like a A4 veteran who's been there for a good minute. Just like they'll be the vet. They'll call it in the ring with them. Just have the new guy follow them, and you're good.
Do you think having guys like AR Fox or Cody Rhodes or QT or Glacier, do you think having those guys being the ones that help train you gives you any type of like, I don't want to say advantage, but like gives you an edge over other people? Because that's a high class, a high caliber of trainers.
It is, like yeah. I mean, I haven't like seen them in like well, I haven't like seen him in a couple years, and I just been on my own, like ever since, so now, so this year I'm planning on going to Total Protection Pro Wrestling Academy this year by Mr. Hughes,
Okay.
since Mr. Hughes, he's another top trainer in the business because he's trained a lot of guys you see on TV like right now.
Yeah. He helped train Fox, I'm pretty sure.
Oh
Like
yeah,
he,
he
he
trained
just,
Fox. He trained Apollo Crews. He trained Heath Slater. He trained Moose in TNA. He trained like a lot of guys. Dexter Loomis, um,
yeah.
which is insane. And I ran into him at a show like I think like a month ago, and yeah, he gave me a lot of like great advice, and like he'll really tell you what you need to hear. And after I had that conversation, it got my gears turning, like if I really want to grow this business, I gotta make some changes. I can't stay at like a certain place and expect like results. You gotta get out there. You gotta like, you know, you just gotta like go up to other shows. You just gotta do what you gotta do, man. You know.
Yeah. So when are you going to start training with Hughes?
Hopefully this month, I just gotta like take care of a couple things, and then it's the pedal to the metal.
Would you say like as a wrestler that training ever stops? Like or should you always be trying to learn and grind?
No, I'd say the training should never stop. Well, of course, you gotta like give your body a rest, every once in a while. You can't go hard 24/7, and then because if you do that, then you'll burn out. So I think like you gotta train smart, not harder. Well, train smarter, not harder.
Okay. With that said, is nutrition and weightlifting still something that you focus on a lot?
Right now, yes, since I don't have like a place to train right now, I'm just like doing like weights and cardio at the gym, and eating good. That's another big factor in it, and that's what I'm doing for now, you know. So when it comes, taking bookings at a show, I do my best, just to warm up in the ring, maybe like, chain wrestle, someone else, for like a minute or two, just to like get some get your heart pumping and stuff, and then you'll be ready.
Just for fun, if you had like dietary advice for a wrestler, what would you say? Like, how would you recommend that they go about nutrition?
Well, just eat clean, eat right, just watch, what you put in your body, and well, everyone's body is different, if it's easy or hard to put on muscle, we can't control that. It's how the Lord has designed our bodies. Yeah, just eat clean, eat right. Get your protein, carbs in, and drink your protein shakes. Careful on taking pre-workout though, because it can get pretty dangerous. Because if you take too much of it, yeah, it can get a little risky.
Okay. What about like a workout or a training schedule? Just like a general. If you had any advice for like how they should go about doing like your legs, your arms, stuff like that.
Um, you know, So my workouts are like a little different. If most of the time I'll like, go heavy on a certain exercise, then I'll do like light, high reps exercises on like a certain exercise. Basically it's like I do strength and hypertrophy and endurance. Like sometimes, I'll go heavy on like bench pressing, squats. I'll push like 300 pounds on the bench. And I'll do the same thing on squats. But then on other leg exercises, I'll like do like endurance stuff. I'll do like 100 squats. Like every leg day I have, I always do like 100 squats, and then I'll probably like do like maybe some lunges or stuff. Like hamstring curls, like leg extensions. I'll like do like light weights and high reps on those for like endurance wise.
Okay. So like you don't think like focusing on like maxing out every day is something that a wrestler should be focused on.
No, no, don't max out too much, because if you max out all the time, you're gonna risk hurting yourself. I'd say just do like a bunch of like reps or something, with an appropriate amount of weight, and yeah, that's how it should be done. Yeah, I quit doing deadlifts because it doesn't do it for me anymore. Before I got into wrestling, I my max deadlift was like 425. And I just couldn't go any higher than that. That was probably the highest I'll ever go on deadlift. And last time I did deadlifts, I deadlifted like 385 ish, and then felt a pop in my back. I'm like, nope, I'm done. And I had a match. I had a match the very next day, so I was already hurt in that match. So, and of course, you don't feel the pain because of the adrenaline. And
Yeah.
once the adrenaline wears off, it comes back. And I'm like, ugh.
What do you think like endurance workouts help with endurance in the ring?
Absolutely. Endurance workouts is your best friend. If you want to have like a 20-minute, a 30-minute match, endurance is your best friend, because if you gas out in the ring, you will risk hurting yourself or hurt your opponent. It's going to look, sloppy. I've had, I believe I've had a few matches, where like earlier, where things got a little sloppy, and I think one of us had to be like gassed out or something. Then just that's what MVP told me when I met him. Endurance is crucial. Because you're protecting your opponent and yourself. If you have good endurance.
Do you ever participate in like training seminars?
Absolutely. I attended a Anthony Henry seminar. That was my first one. I attended Martin Stone, aka Danny Briggs from NXT. That was an
Okay.
intense that was an intense seminar. I attended Gino Rivera, the Puerto Rican pit bull from New Mexico. I did his seminar, but it was only for 30 minutes because the doors were opening and stuff. But it was a short seminar. Fred Rosser, Darren Young, the
Okay.
head coach of New Japan Pro Wrestling. That was probably one of the best seminars I've ever attended. Like it was a 3 hour seminar. We were just chaining for like we were like wrestling for like 5 minutes, and he would just see how we would work, how we would work in the ring. And I well, not wrestle, I trained with this cowboy guy named Johnny Poke from Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was a quick dude, and I was surprised I was able to keep up with his speed and stuff. He's they say he's a no joke, which I truly believe that. He's not a joke. And yeah, it was awesome. Like I I can definitely see us having a match in the future. And another seminar I attended was Mike Quakenbush. You know who Mike Quakenbush is? He has a YouTube channel called Till We Make It. He gives like great advice on like the wrestling industry. How to how to network, how to get your proper character and stuff. So the seminar was it was like based on like flying and basing. So if you're working like guy my size, I'm like 6'2", 220 pounds. If I'm working with a guy that's a lot shorter than me, like 5'5", 130 pounds, it's my job, to keep that dude safe. If I'm throwing him like from one corner to the other, it's my job, to keep him safe and make sure he lands right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's flying and basing. You gotta he explained it like it's like having like a like your okay. So what he made us do like this like some sort of like drill where it's like a crab walk. We just walk like across the ring, and it's like you're trying
Oh,
to like balance a cup of coffee on your stomach. So it's all about balance.
okay.
And so and
Sounds
when
fun.
Oh yeah, it definitely was fun. So we had like a crab walk from like one end to the other, and then made it more challenging by like setting up another guy on top of you, and then he has to do the same thing, and then we would just repeat that. And then so I did it with I think with it might have been with a dude that was like 230 pounds, and I was able to barely get to the other side. Balance is very important. In matches. Core strength is crucial as well. Yeah. So that was a good seminar.
Like to like for your progression, would you say that seminars are important? Like to be able to get different perspectives from different people that maybe aren't at the training session all the time, like getting that different perspective of how you work. Do you think it's important to do those?
Absolutely. I 110% believe seminars are crucial, especially if that person has worked in a lot of major promotions like WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan. You better pick their brains, man, because those opportunities rarely come by. You gotta like soak in as much information as you can. If I'm attending a seminar, from a guy, who's done it all in the major promotions. If he was a multi-time world champion in WWE or, excuse me, in like any other major promotion, I will do my very best to pay close attention as I can because just those opportunities, they rarely come. You just gotta like take notes. Try to like remember the best of your ability. Take yeah, just ask some questions, like how can I get better at this, or just ask questions, just pick their brains, like listen to them, because they've been doing it longer than we've been alive.
Definitely. You brought up earlier that you're kind of a lone wolf. You've kind of moved around through like the indie scene, especially in like your area. What's it like being on your own and trying to get out to different promotions and get yourself booked? What's that like for a young independent talent?
Nowadays, like, well, I mean, it's hard to like get booked anywhere if you're a professional wrestler, because either the card's full, or if you're not qualified enough, or if you're not experienced enough. It's hard to like to do that. If especially when you're new, you're starting out, and you're trying to like look for a platform to wrestle at, and I mean, of course, you'll land at that one promotion, that'll help you boost your credibility, and get more eyes on you. So and then of course there'll be guys in the back, uh, and there's always people in the back that know somebody, and then they'll have you you'd have them reach out to that particular person. If that person's another wrestler or promoter, yeah, I try to like just get as much as possible, but yeah, look, it's you never know what can happen at a wrestling show. You never know who knows somebody. Someone could probably know someone who works at another promotion. You just don't know, right? That's why just let things play out. Keep your expectations low, and you won't be disappointed.
Okay. Um, Doing research, I noticed that you've won some championship gold, specifically like in AWWA. What was
Absolutely.
it like winning a championship, and does that give you any extra responsibilities?
So I didn't know I was winning the title like that day, and it was like when I won it, it was out of nowhere. Like I wasn't told about it, in the back. I wasn't like informed or anything. It was just like a surprise basically. And you know, I all I can say is I defended the title 5 times. So my favorite title defense was one of my favorite opponents, a big guy named the German Dread Ramrock
Okay.
from northern Arizona, and we tore the house down. Yeah, it was like Thor versus Kratos.
Okay.
That's what it was like, and yeah, we really laid it in, and yeah, so I'll be working him again very soon in Arizona, Thunder Mountain Wrestling, and yeah, but this time I'm gonna come in there, more aggressive and more intense. You're only as good as your last match, you know, and yeah, that's my game plan. He's a guy that pushed me to the limit, and I want more of that. Work
Okay.
with opponents that push you to the limit. And
Definitely.
another accomplishment I had with that title is that I took that title on Family Feud with Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to ask about that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, my family, we went there. I had the title on my podium, and Steve was really intrigued by that title, man. It was a really cool experience, even though we didn't win the game or anything, but all I can say, it was a great experience.
How did that come about? Like getting on Family Feud?
So, I mean, we watched like Family Feud a lot, and then my mom say like, I want to get on Family Feud. I'm like, okay, okay, So we had my family and my uncle audition, and basically do like an audition, like if you're auditioning for a movie role,
Okay.
and what's crazy is that 3%, the chance of making it on the show is 3%,
Okay.
which is nuts.
Yeah.
And I was shocked that we got on.
Did you let them know that you was bringing the championship, or did you just show up?
Oh
They
yeah, I had the title, in the auditioning, and and we got when I got the green light that I can take the title, taking it.
um what was your like did you get any like special interactions with somebody like Steve Harvey while you was there?
Not really, like we only we only we only had a conversation with him when the cameras were rolling.
Okay. They keep everybody separated or was it just like what was that like?
So I mean, so the show was filming, so basically, of course, he'll ask the family like introduce yourselves and everything. Yeah, I had the title on the podium, like I said, and I said, the longest reigning world champion for over 200 days. Currently, I held the title for 280 days.
Okay.
That's that's the record. Uh,
Nice.
yeah, and you know, and, things, then like it was time for me to move on from the promotion. It was time to move on. You know, and
Did did you get any like positive feedback from the promotion for bringing the title in Family Feud?
oh yeah, like a lot of the families, they were like intrigued by the title. I think I think one of the family members was a wrestling fan too, and they like watching wrestling and stuff, and yeah, it was just a really cool experience.
Okay. Um, Something newish in the wrestling news bubble is this WWEID system. Somebody that's from the Nightmare Factory, is that something that like you got your eye on that you'd hope like maybe you're hopeful to get ID'd as a prospect?
I hope so one day. Of course, like it's really hard. It's really hard to make a name for yourself in this business, and it's not easy. Like nothing about the wrestling business is easy. That's all I can say is would I ever go back there to the Nightmare Factory? I would, yeah. You know, if I want to have a more successful career in wrestling, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Definitely. Um, Getting into the to the end of things, I want to talk a little bit about like inspirations. Um, what or who would you say like are your biggest inspirations, maybe inside and outside of the ring?
Are you talking about like on the pro level wise or the indie wise?
Either way.
So yeah, I definitely like look up to like a lot of guys in business. Of course, Ramrock is one of them. Another one is SP the Ghost. I love the
Okay.
guy. I cannot wait to work him one day. And in my last big match was against a 7 footer named Alex Ace, the
Okay.
anomaly. Yeah, and in that match, yeah, he beat me up. He really, he really whooped my ass. I gotta tell you that. Like I was. It definitely. You don't just simply wrestle a guy. You experience him. Like he is no joke. And of course, he's like so. In my eyes, he's like Darth Vader. He's the like the final boss of indie wrestling, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I definitely want a rematch with him down the road. Not just to like prove a point to anything, but if I were to have a rematch with him, I gotta prove it to myself. I gotta prove it to myself that I can hang with these top level guys.
Yeah.
And, just overcoming a lot of stuff. That's all I can
Okay.
say.
Um, if we're looking back, how would you say that you did professionally speaking in 2024?
I feel like I didn't do enough in 2024. In 2025, I want to do a lot more than what I did in the past 3 years. That's
What's your biggest goal for 2025 then?
wrestle the big four. Though
Okay.
those four guys are Ramrock, SP the Ghost, El Lycan, and Alex Ace.
Okay.
Those are the big four, and yeah, that's that's all I can say right now is wrestle those guys.
Okay.
I've worked three out of the four of them. I've worked three of them except for one.
This
That's
year you want to work those three again and get that last guy as well?
absolutely.
Okay.
We'll make Alex Ace the last one.
Okay. Build
Basically,
up to it?
yeah, build up to it and basically do like a final battle. Basically like a God of War style.
I got you. I got
Or
you.
like Luke Skywalker facing Vader in Return of the Jedi. That's kind of like the that version.
Okay. I like
Yeah.
it. Um, Before we get going, one last question. I always end with a Mount Rushmore. So, like, who would you say like your personal top four of all time are, and why do you pick those four?
Mount Rushmore. Bret Hart, um, Hulk Hogan. Of course, he put wrestling on the map. He made wrestling what it is. The Undertaker, and I would have to say, of course, like it might sound a little controversy, but but he was one of the best technical wrestlers. Chris Benoit.
Okay.
Yeah, those are.
I,
I'd say those are my Mount Rushmore guys, in my
okay.
opinion.
It's acceptable. I think Benoit's somebody that, from a wrestling perspective, um, it makes sense to put on the list. If you take out other
Absolutely.
things, it
You
makes
know, 'cause
sense.
yeah, because of his intensity, his aggression, his in-ring work. I try to look past on like what happened 18 years ago. But I try to like pay attention to his body of work. That's all I can say.
Okay, I respect it. Um, Before we go, is there any advice that you'd like to give anybody else that's trying to break into the business?
Just mouth closed, ears open, take notes, observe. What goes on in the ring, and pay attention to what your coach tells you. Or if you ever meet a veteran, seek advice. Um, that's all I can say.
Fair enough. Um, Logan, thank you once again for coming on ILW Pod. Really do appreciate you. I had a fun time. So I'll leave the door open if you ever want to come back on here. Maybe after those you hit those big four guys that we talked about, maybe we can get on here and talk about it.
Absolutely.
Sounds good, man. I will leave it at see you later then.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate you.